Oh, Muna! I know you don't like the amount of amiibos we've made right now, but could you hold back on the punches? Anyway, can I at least make the rest of the trio without you getting mad? Okay, that's the deal. Let's get started on our custom Alterna Marie amiibo. First up was the disassembly of Marie. Starting with her arms, where we had already taken her left hand off and heat formed it around a bamboo skewer. This will then form the base for her umbrella in the later parts of the video. For now, we needed to focus on making her a new right arm. We are going to use this hand again, but we first needed to reference the old arm for the length that the aluminium wire needed to be. After that, I can bend the wire and use my pliers to add it to the hole that we drilled into her shoulder. For Marie, I not only wanted to reference her pose from this artwork that we also used for Callie, but I also blend her pose with this one from the Stay Fresh pose. After that arm had been superglued in place and we had checked that the skewer still works, we can go on to the next phase, sculpting. For Marie, we first needed to make her whole again. So, the first thing we're going to do is to add her arm over the aluminium wire frame. From this, we can then add some small, flat pieces of epoxy sculpt and work our way over the idol suit to slowly cover it to be able to transform it into the Alterna dress. Going from her right arm to her left arm, also using the clay to fill in some of the gaps that formed while reattaching the hand. Then we add the clay to the front and use our pointed silicone tool to add back the teardrop shapes into the dress. Then, while we're smoothing each piece into one another, we slowly work our way down to the ends of the suit. Then we use more silicone tools to define Marie's chest a little more from the clay. After that, we first use a knife to cut a line into the clay before we use some different silicone tools to define the line of the pieces of the dress that wrap around her side and buttons up in the back. We use some pointed type of tools to define and deepen the line. Then I use a flat tool to press the outer parts of this line back into the clay a bit to make this inner part of the fabric appear on top of the rest of the dress. Then we extend this even further with one more thin sheet of clay, to which we had cut a smooth end to be able to add it to the end of the suit and to smooth the other side into the rest of the layers of clay. Then we came to the realization that we accidentally pressed the rest of the clay a bit too far back. So we had to readjust some things like the teardrop shapes on our belly. Then I pressed the ends of the dress in place for the final time before we had to leave the amiibo alone before we go and mess with the sculpt too much. But I did not like how thick the two layers of materials were. And I wanted to have the dress drape down a bit more, but the plastic was in the way, so that made it impossible. Will do! And I will even add a primer of white on top of everything else once the clay is dried, to have her ready for when you're back for the painting. I even already added the yellow details to her dress, headpiece and shoes. Whoops. Don't worry. For now, let's just continue with the black around the spots on her headdress with this thinnest, tiniest brush. That's already enough to worry about. We can also add some black as a base onto her earrings. And also this little 2mm EVA foam squid I added to her dress. You got it. And at least I can record the painting of the ink on the base with that faded yellow color. Right?
Are you with me?
But after we got all of the black details painted on, it was sadly time for the white layers.
Okay.
It wouldn't be if the dress wasn't such a huge part of the amiibo that my perfectionism wanted to make sure that we got a consistent coat of white with no brush marks. And because of all of this, we had to apply like 5 or 6 layers of thinned white. So, before I add the final white layers, at least I can get some variety back with some more black details like the separation line within the dress and the gloves. But not only do we still need the white for the dress, we also need it for the touch-ups on the edges of the headdress. Despite that, we can still do some other fun colors, like this dark blue for the inside of the dress. And once that is right, we can also add a nice dark gray for the pants. At least we can still go back for the eye mask. Next, we also have the gold for the little squid pin that Marie has on her chest. Then we have the eyes with a yellowish brown for the iris, followed up with a dark brown for the edge of the iris and the star pupils. Then we can add the light grey to Marie's tentacles, and also add the faded yellow gradient to the ends, before we can start to add the bright yellow dots on top of this. Then with a little help from the textures in-game, we made an Illustrator file of the umbrella pattern. And with a little perfecting of the placement of the two layers, we have the umbrella ready for use. So we can cut this out from the piece of paper. And we can cut a slice from it to fold it in more of a cone shape. But before we finish the umbrella, we first need the pole of the umbrella made. So, starting from that aforementioned bamboo skewer, to which we add one layer of craft paper to add a handle to the end. Then we paint this handle with the same dark grey as Marie's pants. And this is then followed up with a layer of black and then plate mail silver for the rest of the pole. Then, once we have the pole glued in place, we can superglue the umbrella in position. Once that frame has been coupled together, all that was left is to add this flower-like piece with a skewer nozzle on top of the umbrella, which then gets finished with a layer of black paint. With all of these details added, we can glue Marie onto her base with the aluminium support in her right shoe and the matching hole in the ink. Then a little more glue in between her dress and the highest part of the ink. And with everything in place, we can add the gloss varnish on stuff like her tentacles, her eyes, the ink, and the little golden squid pin. And with that done, we finish the second of our Alterna Custom Amiibos, Alterna Marie. Hey Creagears, Roboy here, and we hope you enjoyed our second custom of the Alterna trio, Alterna Marie. Now all that's left is Captain 3, and then we'll have the complete trio finished.
You ready?
Oh yeah! I've got some fun ideas for the pose of the amiibo, the details I want to add, etc, etc. But that will sadly have to wait until the release of Captain 3's own video in the next episode. So, you guys better subscribe and hit that notification bell to make sure you get updated as soon as that video goes live. But I guess that's going to be all from us for now. Keep those creative gears turning, and we will see you guys in the next episode.